Join me right now, back on the show, is Rising Fighting Federation Lightweight Smashing Machine, Johnny Case. What's going on, Johnny?
Not much, man. Good to see you. Good. Thanks for having me back on.
No doubt, man. You have went over to Japan, destroyed two of the best that they have, Yachi and Kitaoka. What has the ride been like for you, fighting for Rising, fighting over in Japan?
Man, it's been awesome. For anybody who's never experienced the Rizin show, it's the the production is over the top, man. It's like the Super Bowl every event they have. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing. The fans are so amazing. They're so respectful. They praise fighters. Like fighters are like the highest calling over there. So the respect is there, and like they just love the warrior spirit, and they love the martial arts aspect of that fighting brings, and all, obviously fighting for Rizin with the Japanese rule sets, the head kicks on the ground, the knees on the ground. It's really kind of invigorated my love for the sport. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's a completely different fight now. Fighting in a ring instead of a cage. So it's been great, man. It's been awesome for my career. It's been awesome for my development as a fighter, and I'm right where I want to be.
Is it weird to be cheered by the fans for beating up their hometown heroes?
No, not really. So I've been fortunate enough to fight all over the world. Fought in Japan before, fought in Mexico, fought in Australia, Brazil, and for the most part, everywhere I fought besides Brazil, everybody was cool. Like, if you go out there and then you start fighting, they're like, man, this kid's good. He's got good skills. Then they kind of embrace that anyway. Um, so like, yeah, so it's not really not that odd to me.
Last weekend, UFC Mexico, Jeremy Stevens, Yair Rodriguez. Jeremy Stevens, of course, got poked in the eye. But afterwards, the crowd went pretty nuts, throwing things into the ring and then throwing a bunch of stuff at Jeremy Stevens. When you saw that, what were you thinking, man?
So crazy fucking fact, like crazy fact. So I actually used to live with Jeremy Stevens, and I trained in San Diego. He was a partner of mine. Uh, I fought in Mexico City for my third fight in the UFC 188. Suffered the same eye poke in the first round, and and I couldn't see, but kind of I was lucky enough to have fucking one of the best referees in the game is John McCarthy, and because of him, he's the reason where I could finish my fight. You know what I mean? Like, whereas like my first instinct was like, I can't fucking see this guy. You know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna win if I can't see him? And I think it was just, it's a shitty situation. Like the fighter in you is like, nah, I can like just go fucking fight this guy, but the logic in you says, nah, man, like I can't fucking see this guy is a world class. The people are a lot faster when you can only see half. So it's just a really unfortunate thing, man. It just happens.
Your last fight, it looked like your arm was pretty banged up. Did you have to get surgery?
No surgery, no break. Actually, thank goodness. It was just a bone contusion, just a real deep bruising. They said at the arena in Japan at Saitama, they did like an ultrasound. They had like an ultrasound thing, and they said that they thought that they could see a fracture with that. But then we ended up getting X-rays, and there was no damage. It was just banged up real good.
Was there any worries that you couldn't return in time for this tournament?
For initially, so when I thought it was broken, that was going to be an issue. I was gonna do whatever I could to make sure that there was gonna be a go ahead. But yeah, now that I've taken care of it, I've done the physical therapy, I've been training with it, 100% back to normal. So I'll be throwing it again. It's like just like the kid they have to fight. So
When the promotion announced that you were facing Roberto De Souza in the first round, what were your initial thoughts on that matchup?
I was really excited with that matchup. Very, very excited with this matchup. Um, I feel like he's 9-0. The guy's obviously got skills. But he's not really a complete MMA fighter just yet. You know what I mean? And he's got wins, but got wins over guys who really aren't that great MMA fighters either. You know what I mean? Even his last two stoppages with those opponents, it wasn't. He didn't really even have time to implement his ground game. He fought two grapplers, I believe, and ended up just knocking him out because he was the taller, lengthier guy. And got the guys walking in. I feel like it's such a good matchup for me. I'm so dynamic on the striking. I can wrestle. My jiu-jitsu's up, so I feel like I'm the whole package. And he's good. I think he's gonna have a great career, but he's just not ready for this animal.
Souza, he is a definitely dangerous on the ground, and he's knocked out his last two opponents. Is that kind of make fans delusional, sometimes where a guy goes in and kind of, I'm not saying it's lucky, but you know, in a way it is a lucky like punch. He catch somebody when they're coming in, right?
I think people that aren't very good at breaking shit down and looking at actual skill set. They're just kind of looking at the result and watching the fight and be like, oh yeah, but he finished the fight there. It's like, but if you look at how he set it, there's no setup. There's no setup at all. Kideoka was just gung ho on coming forward, ramps, walked right into punches. He's a grown man. I mean, he should fucking be able to knock people out. If they're gonna stand right in front of you, and you can just tee off on them. If you don't knock them out, you're a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, you just got to look at facts. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say like the average fan isn't educated, but they don't think like a fighter. They don't train with a fighter. They don't understand tactics. They don't understand what they're looking at necessarily. They're just seeing punches landed and kind of stuff like that. So I don't think they're naive. I mean, the guy's good. He's got skills. He's 9-0 for a reason. But me knowing the level that I fight at, the level that I train at, the level that I can see in other people, the kid's just not there yet, man.
Where have you been preparing for this upcoming fight?
So I train out of Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, Nevada. Been here for about the last year. Before that, I was at the MMA lab in Phoenix, Arizona.
As you fight more in Japan, get more comfortable with the rules and the setting, have you made any changes throughout the last year or so to your training camp to kind of better
Oh,
fit yourself for Rizin?
very much, very much. So I remember like thinking like when I was first came over to fighting Japanese rules with like the knees to the head and the soccer kicks and stuff. I'm like, when you're doing American MMA, you get in those positions all the time because people can't knee you in the head, they can't kick you in the head, they can't stomp you in the head. So you're kind of naive and being like, yeah, I'm gonna get this all the time. But then you fight that style and all of a sudden those positions are gone within seconds because people know that they're going to get kneed in the head. They know they're going to get kicked in the head. So I was kind of naive and thinking like, yeah, I'm going to get some soccer kicks and I'm going to get that style. So I was training that a lot, and really trying to implement that style. And it's like, it's really hard to do that because people, believe it or not, people don't want to get their head stomped on. So the training, that style has been different and it's been really fun. Like I said, but yeah, it's been a little bit of an eye opener. Like some things that I thought that would be, aren't necessarily true.
I guess there's no time to relax, right, in certain positions because of the threat of the knees and the kicks and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to constantly be fighting for the finish, and that's my style anyway. You know what I mean? Like even when I was fighting American MMA, it's like I've never been one to go out there and just lay on people and try to eke out a decision. Like I'm always trying. If I'm on my back, I'm trying to get the fuck up. I'm trying to knock you out. I'm trying to get on top of you and submit you. Like so, like my style really really works well for that rule set.
When you look at the landscape of this first round, what do you think is the closest matchup?
You mean would it be like the best, like the question mark of like who wins the fight? I
Yes.
think probably Tofik and Damian Brown. I
Okay.
think that's probably that's one I don't really understand. Like I want to say like, well, Tofik's got the better kickboxing, but Damian's definitely got the better submission skills. So that's like a clash of styles. And Damian's tough as they come. I mean, Damian's got heart, whereas Tofik hasn't really shown a grittiness in a fight. He's kind of been like the kind of fighter that just kind of fucking dominates. I haven't really seen him in bad positions and have to use his heart. Whereas I've seen Damian bite down, let that heart of a lion show in the fight. So, it's an interesting matchup. I think Pitbull, Kawajiri, I think Pitbull kind of smashes his way through there. Same with Yusakeda, and actually the Yusakeda and the Luis Gustavo fight. That's kind of a question mark too. But I don't know. I don't really know anything about the Yusakeda kid other than that weird fight that he had to get into the tournament. It kind of ended weird. But, I don't know. Yeah, that should be a question mark fight too. So, but I think Pitbull Kawajiri, that's obviously a mismatch. I think me and Satoshi's a mismatch. I'm not saying that the guy isn't going to come ready to fight. Like, I'm prepared for a war, but like I said, skill set, like, I think I'm just too much for him. I think that Damian Brown Tofik. I think Tofik gets his heart tested, and we'll see what he's really made of in that fight.
Yeah, there's a few guys in the tournament that are wild cards. They just go in there and let it fly. I think, and like your opponent and Hiroto, was it Yusaki, right? He's one of
Yeah,
those guys too.
yeah, agreed. Is he? Yeah, like pretty much from what I've seen. Yeah, that's kind of the way he conducts himself in there. So, hey, man, that style is it can be dangerous if you allow yourself to be pulled into that kind of mindset and fight, and you're not going to fight smart. Then that could present a lot of damage. That could present a lot of dangers. But if you're smart and calculated and you stick to your game plan.
Now, in this fight, you've knocked out both of your previous opponents. In this fight, do you see the same thing happening? You see yourself basically dominating just like your first two fights?
I do. Yeah, I see me finishing this fight. I see me just going out there and just being too much for the kid. Uh, Open. I mean, I'm sure the guy's prepared. I'm sure he's going to come out and he's going to, he wants to win just as much as I want to win. But yeah, I think the result's going to be the same. Get out there and I finish this guy, put him away.
Who do you see yourself meeting in the finals of the Grand Prix?
Well, that's a good question because I don't know exactly how this format plays out. But if it plays out the way that we drew, then that means I fight Tofik and Damien. The winner of that fight is who I fight in the semifinals. Then the other side of the bracket would be Yusakeda, Luis Gustavo, Pitbull, and Kawajiri. And I think that's easily the weakest side of the bracket, with Pitbull being the dominant one on that side. So I would say Pitbull. But if they change the format and we redraw for the semifinals, then I don't know who the hell I get. Then it could be Tofik, could be Damien, could be Pitbull. I think it's going to be between those three.
Mentally entering this tournament, do you see that you have a target on your back, or do you see that the target is on, let's say, Patricky Pitbull's back because he's the only guy who's from Bellator coming into this tournament representing that organization?
Yeah, I don't really feel pressure like a target on my back, and I don't really have a target out for anybody. Like, I'm just here to fucking whoop ass, man. Whoever they put in front of me, win. That's it. Just that simple. There's no grudge. There's no animosity. There's nothing. I'm not trying to put any pussies up on the pedestal, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to get out there and do my thing, and if I do that and take care of that, then I'll be champion. I know that.
All right, man. Well, I'm excited for this tournament, man. It's going to start October 12th, Rizin 19, Osaka, Japan. Johnny, man, good luck to you, man, on this tournament, on this fight, and hope to see you on New Year's Eve, man.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, brother.